Here's a question for you. How do you showcase your expertise while still making yourself relatable? Because let's get real. Your audience needs to trust that you are the expert who can help them. Welcome to Seven Figure Copy, the show where I teach you how to create powerful strategic messaging so you can attract high-paying clients and scale your business to the next level with ease. I'm Gina Whitehouse, your expert conversion copywriter, and this podcast is for ambitious, value-driven female entrepreneurs like you who are ready to scale from 6 to 7 figures without sacrificing what matters most: your values, your time, and your family. In each episode, we'll dive into the art of crafting persuasive words for high-converting websites and sales pages, and you'll learn strategic copy techniques so you attract premium clients and boost your revenue. This podcast was created to help you tackle the challenges of balancing family life and business growth as you take your business to the next level. If you're ready to add a trusted partner to your team, making sure your message is compelling, consistent, and impactful, then you're in the right place. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Seven Figure Copy. I'm your host, Gina Whitehouse, and today we're tackling a challenge that trips up so many female business owners. But before we get into it, I want you to go to the show notes and grab the 7-figure About Page checklist, because I want you to make sure you've got every copy element, every section you need on your About Page, so you can use it as your secret sales page and drive sales into your business. So check out those show notes after the episode. All right, here's a question for you. How do you showcase your expertise while still making yourself relatable? Because let's get real. Your audience needs to trust that you are the expert who can help them. Let me say that again. They need to trust that you're the expert who can help them. But they also need to feel connected to you. And when these two things are in place, it really frees you up mentally because you have the peace of mind that your website is doing its job, which is to drive sales into your business. So here's a problem that I see a lot. One, if your About Page is too professional, you might sound cold and unapproachable. And the other is that it's too personal. If it's too personal, you may lose credibility with your visitor and really not position yourself as the expert you are. So today, I'm going to show you how to strike that perfect balance, because at the end of this episode, I want you to know how to, first, make yourself relatable without oversharing. Second, I want to show you how you can pivot your story smoothly into sharing about your expertise. And then third, I want to show you how to end your story in a way that speaks directly to your target audience, so they see why you're the expert they need. All right, let's jump in. So in the last episode, I talked about 5 common mistakes that I see people make with their About Page. If you haven't listened to that one yet, go back to it. It's episode 13. Today, I'm going to add a 6th mistake. Okay. And one of the biggest mistakes I see business owners make on their About Page is that they really skip the relatability factor. They'll jump right into their qualifications or their credentials, how many years of experience they have, without really first connecting with their audience. And here's the thing, people buy from people. So your audience needs to feel like you actually understand them before they're going to trust you as the expert. So what's the best way to do this? My method is to start with a short personal story that kind of mirrors your own journey. So I'm going to give you 2 examples as we go through this. One is for a health coach, and then the other example we're going to be using is for a real estate agent. So you can see how it works differently for those 2 type of professions, okay? So let's first put ourselves in the shoes of a health coach, okay? This is someone who helps busy moms get their energy back. So instead of starting their About Page with this, saying, I'm a certified health coach with 10 years of experience helping women improve their nutrition, no, this health coach could say, a few years ago, I found myself constantly exhausted. I was running on coffee, skipping meals, and feeling sluggish all day long. I knew something had to change. Okay, I think I know the answer here, but I'm going to ask you, which one do you think resonated with the website visitor more? Was it the first one where she gave her years of experience, or was it the second one where she actually opened up her own life and said, I was exhausted, I was running on coffee, skipping meals, and feeling sluggish all day? Obviously, the right answer is number 2. People are going to go on a website and they're going to say, oh yes, I totally relate to that, okay? So instantly, she is making herself relatable. Why? Because she's showing her readers that she has been where they are. All right, let's now move into the real estate agent example. Let's say you're a real estate agent who helps first-time buyers navigate the process. She could say this. She could say, I'm a licensed real estate agent who helps clients buy and sell homes in, and then add the city. Or she could try this. I remember what it was like buying my first home. I was excited but completely overwhelmed. I had no idea what questions to ask, what to look for, or how to negotiate. I knew there had to be an easier way. All right, we know the answer. If I ask you which one's better, it's going to be number 2. Why? Because it creates an instant connection, because it really acknowledges the emotions that her ideal client is feeling. So here's 2 tips on how to make yourself relatable in your story. And here we're talking about at the start of your story. The first one is to pinpoint a moment when you were in your audience's shoes. Just think about that. Ask yourself a question like, have I ever felt the way my target audience feels? When did I go through a similar thing? And how can I share that? Okay. So pinpoint that moment when you were feeling those same pain points that they were feeling or were going through, where you were going through the same struggle. The second thing is just use simple conversational language. I think it's easy to fall into the trap of really, really trying to sound professional in the way where you're using big words, and when it comes to your About page, I just want you to focus on keeping it conversational and simple and not using like the big words and the technical jargon. Just remind yourself that you need to make yourself relatable to the people who are visiting that page. So we've covered now the first part of your story. There is a second element to your story, and I'm just going to call this pivoting into your expertise. So now that you've established your relatability to your ideal client or customer, now it's time to pivot into the expertise portion of your story, which is the third portion. But right now we're going to talk about the in-between. It's the second portion where we're going to pivot. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. So they'll either make the pivot too abruptly, like going from sharing the struggle to then sharing a success in a way that might feel kind of unnatural. Or you make this section too long where you're just going to spend you might be spending paragraphs just explaining your transformation instead of really getting to the point. So here's how to transition smoothly. I want you at this point to use a 1 to 2 sentence pivot, I would say, that connects your struggle to your expertise. So here's that example for a health coach. She would write, I knew something had to change. So I started learning everything I could about nutrition, energy management, and holistic health. After completely transforming my own health, I became a certified coach to help other women do the same. So what do you think about that? Think about it. Let's break this apart a little bit. She got to the point, she's like, I knew something had to change. So then she tells you what she started to do. She started to learn everything she could. So now she's showing you that she's very knowledgeable. She became very knowledgeable. Okay. And then after she changed her own health, right? So she was having those same struggles before. And now she's been able to come on the other side. So she had a before and now she's in the after. Okay. She says, I became a certified health coach. So now she went and got more training to help other women do the same. Or she could say to help other women just like me do the same. Let's go now to the real estate agent. This is her pivot section. She may write something like this. That's why I became a real estate agent, so I could help first-time homebuyers avoid the overwhelm and confidently navigate the home buying process with ease. So do you see how seamless that felt? I'm going to actually go back and I'm going to read what I read for her from the section before, the relatable, so we can just see how these tie together. So this is what she wrote before. She said, I remember what it was like buying my first home. I was excited but completely overwhelmed. I had no idea what questions to ask, what to look for, or how to negotiate. I knew there had to be an easier way. And then she pivots. She says, that's why I became a real estate agent, so I could help first-time homebuyers avoid the overwhelm and confidently navigate the home buying process with ease. Right? So when you do this, it's showing your audience that you've been where they are, that you've figured out how to fix it, and how you help others do the same. All right, so remember that. You want to show, again, that you've been where they are, that you figured it out. You were the before and now you're the after. and how now you help others do the same. Now, once you've pivoted and you've had that 1 to 2 sentence put in there, then now it's time to make the final, and I would say like the most important step, which is now turning your story and making it about them. So now let's talk about the other big mistake that I see business owners make, and that's that they end their story talking about themselves instead of speaking to their audience. So here's what you need to do instead. First, you need to reinforce your audience's challenges. Then you need to show them why you're the expert that they should trust. And third, I want you to make it clear how you help them. So let's look at the example of the health coach. She could end her about page story. Now, I'm not talking about the entire about page here. I'm just talking about the story portion. She could end it with, I love helping women eat healthier. So what does she wrote right before? That pivot statement said, the last statement said, after completely transforming my health, I became a certified coach to help other women do the same. And then she could write, I love helping women eat healthier. It doesn't end well. It's kind of abrupt. Instead, she could say this, I understand how hard it is to juggle business, family, and self-care, but you don't have to figure it out all alone. I help busy moms create simple, sustainable, healthy habits so they can feel energized, strong, and confident in their bodies again. So do you see how here she's like hitting the pain points again when she says, I understand how hard it is to juggle business, juggle family, and juggle self-care, right? And now she's saying you don't have to figure it out all alone. So she's speaking right to her target audience. This is customer-centric copy, okay? And she says, I help busy moms create simple, sustainable health habits. She's telling them here what they're going to get when they work with her so they can feel energized, strong, and confident in their bodies again. So energized, strong, and confident. This is the transformation. She is selling the transformation here. So do you see how this whole story came together? She shared her own struggles, and then she pivoted, telling them that she then went to learn everything she could learn about nutrition and became a certified coach. And now she's wrapping it up by acknowledging their pain points again, telling them that they don't have to figure out how to do this alone, and giving them the transformation of what's going to happen when they work together. This is good. But here's what I want you to know. This is not the end of your about page. All right. After this, and we're not going to talk about it in this episode. But after this, what you're going to do is now go into your bullet points where you give them exactly what they're going to get when they work with you. And I don't mean the facts. I don't mean like, okay, when you work with me, you're going to get this PDF workshop or PDF workbook. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, again, you're going into those bullet points where you're going to now tell them about the transformation that they're going to get when they work with you. And then you're going to have your final call to action statement. And if you're a little scrambled in your head right now about what all those different copy elements are, make sure to go to the show notes and download the About Page checklist because all those elements are in there. Okay. But this is how we're going to end this story section. All right. Remember that you make yourself relatable and then you pivot into your expertise. And at the end, in a very customer-centric way, you end your story telling them what it's going to be like when they work with you and why you're the expert that they should work with. Okay, before we move on, I want to go back to the real estate agent. Now, she could end her whole story with, I'm passionate about helping people find their dream homes. It's very, very vague. And remember the last episode we talked about, do not be vague, give details. So this is how she could end her story. Now, let me remind you, right before this story, she gave her pivot sentence, which was, that's why I became a real estate agent, so I could help first-time home buyers avoid the overwhelm and confidently navigate the home buying process with ease. And then she's going to say, buying a home is one of the biggest investments you'll ever make. You deserve someone who understands your concerns, answers your questions, and helps you make confident decisions every step of the way. I make the process simple so you can focus on finding the perfect home, not stressing over the details. Again, she's hitting the pain points that many first-time home buyers are stressing over the details. But what I love in this copy is look how many times she says the word you or you'll, like you will, right? So like buying a home is one of the biggest investments you'll ever make. You deserve someone who understands your concerns, answers your questions, helps you make. So I bring this up because this is what it looks like to speak directly to your target audience. This is customer-centric copy. The opposite of that is me-centric copy, where you're always talking about I, me, my, I can help you this way, buy my, blah, 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 blah. No, we want to turn it around and we want to go and look and see how many of those I's and me's and my's are there and how many times, look and see how many times you can change it to a you or your, because you want to be talking to them directly. So this approach shifts the focus from you to your audience, okay, while still establishing trust and showing them why you're the person to work with. It enhances your credibility. So at this point, I think it might be helpful to go back and just read an entire story to you. So I'm going to read the story from The Health Coach. I'll try to make it fast. I know we've read through it a few times, but I think you'll benefit from hearing it from her story from the top to the bottom. Okay, so she says, a few years ago, I found myself constantly exhausted. I was running on coffee, skipping meals, and feeling sluggish all day long. I knew something had to change. So I started learning everything I could about nutrition, energy management, and holistic health. After completely transforming my health, I became a certified health coach to help other women do the same. I understand how hard it is to juggle business, family, and self-care, but you don't have to figure it out all alone. I help busy moms create simple, sustainable, healthy habits so they can feel energized, strong, and confident in their bodies again. So that's just a small snippet of a story, I would say. You could be much longer with your story if you want, or it could be short. Like this, I would say, is pretty short for an about page, but for the sake of this episode, I didn't want to go too long for you, okay? But if you're asking yourself, like, how long is too long for my story? I actually have a blog post. If you go to my website, www.whitehousesm.com/blog, and there's a blog that I did that it's titled something like How Long Should Your About Page Be? So go and find that. But this is what I want you to keep in mind, and this is what I've been telling you for the last few episodes, is that every sentence should have a purpose. Every sentence should lead to another sentence that wants to make them keep reading. So however long it needs to be, just make sure that the information is relevant to the service, the product that you offer. Okay, so let's recap. Here are the things that you need as part of your story. You need to make it relatable. So you're going to start with a story that mirrors your own or that mirrors your audience's struggles. Then you're going to pivot. You're going to pivot into your expertise. So you're going to use a quick transition to show how you found the solution. And then you're going to end your story in a way that speaks to your audience. I want you to show them why you're the expert that they need. So here's your challenge for the week. I want you to look at your about page. I want you to look and ask yourself, does it have that relatable portion of your story? And does it have that expertise portion of your story? If so, that's great. Then I want you to look at it and I want you to ask, how is that transition? That's like that number 2 part that we talked about, that 1 and 2 sentences transitioning from relatable into expertise. If you're missing any of these 3, just go back, like set a timer. I have a little very simple timer. Set it for 30 minutes and just start writing, and then put it to the side and then go back to it and read it again and edit. Okay. I want you to look at your about page and just really rewrite it so it's focused on your audience too. Look at it. Ask yourself, is this me-centered or is it customer-centered? Okay? And make sure at the end that you include a strong call to action. Okay. Thank you for listening, you guys. I really wanted to put these 3 episodes together, which are episode 12, 13, and 14, about the about page. Okay? And make sure you go and you download the 7-figure about page checklist. It's going to walk you through every element you need to make your about page what I like to call a conversion machine, or a relatable page, a secret sales page. I just want you to really know that this can be a page that is often overlooked, but it can be just as important as your homepage. Every page on your website is a sales page, and that's the way you need to look at it. Every page on your website should be driving sales into your business. So go back to that page and make sure it's optimized so you can make more sales and impact more lives. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of 7-Figure Copy. If you've enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star review on your favorite platform and follow me on Instagram for more insights. Can you think of one female entrepreneur or small business owner right now who could benefit from listening to this podcast? Please share this episode with them. And if you're ready to hand off the copy for your website, emails, and sales pages, Head over to www.whitehousesm.com to book a complimentary coffee chat with me. Let's partner together to take your business to the next level.